meet you. I'm Lazari. I'm a TR student, and today we're going to be measuring your attitude towards leisure by using the leisure attitude measurement, and we're going to measure your leisure on 3 different scales: your behavior, your intentions to engage in leisure, your affective, how you feel about leisure, and your cognitive level, what you think about leisure. Are you ready to begin?
Yes.
All right, great. So first, the 5 scales are 1, never true, 2, seldom true, 3, somewhat true, 4, often true, and 5, always true. I'm going to read you a sentence or scenario, and you respond with the number you think best fits. 1, engaging in fun activities is wise use of leisure time.
4, often true.
Leisure activities are beneficial to individuals and society.
4, often true.
People often develop friendships in their leisure.
3, somewhat true.
Leisure activities contribute to one's health.
4, often true.
Leisure activities increase one's happiness.
4, often true.
Leisure increases one's work productivity.
2, seldom true.
Leisure activities help to renew one's energy.
2, seldom true.
Leisure activities can be means for self-improvement.
3, somewhat true.
Leisure activities help individuals to relax.
3, somewhat true.
People need leisure activities.
4, often true.
Leisure activities are good opportunities for social contacts.
5, always true.
Leisure activities are important.
4, often true.
When I am engaging in leisure activities, the time flies.
5, always true.
My leisure activities give me pleasure.
5, always true.
I value my leisure activities.
5, always true.
I can be myself during my leisure.
1, never true.
My leisure activities provide me with delightful experiences.
5, always true.
I feel that leisure is good for me.
4, often true.
I like to take my time when I am engaged in leisure activities.
3, somewhat true.
My leisure activities are refreshing.
5, always true.
I consider it appropriate to engage in leisure activities frequently.
4, often true.
I feel that the time I spend on leisure activities is not wasted.
3, somewhat true.
I like my leisure activities.
5, always true.
My leisure activities absorb or get my full attention.
4, often true.
I do leisure activities frequently.
2, seldom true.
Give a choice, I would increase the amount of time spent in leisure activities.
4, often true.
I buy goods and equipment to use my leisure activities as my income allows.
4, often true.
I could do more new leisure activities if I could afford the time and money.
4, often true.
I spend considerable time and effort to be more competent in my leisure activities.
4, often true.
Given a choice, I would live in an environment or city which provides leisure.
5, always true.
I do some leisure activities even when they have not been planned.
5, always true.
I would attend a seminar or a class to be able to do leisure activities better.
1, never true.
I support the idea of increasing my free time engaging in leisure activities.
4, often true.
I engage in leisure activities even when I am busy.
5, always true.
I would spend time in education preparation for leisure activities.
3, somewhat true.
I give my leisure high priority among other activities.
3, somewhat true.
Okay, so after this, I'm going to calculate your scores and tell you whether intervention may be needed, and intervention will be needed if I see that you have a 2.5 or lower on any of the 3 categories. Okay, we'll be back. Okay, so I've calculated your scores. There was a total of 36 questions that I asked you, and each of these questions were divided into 3 sections. So for the first section, which is your cognitive score, you scored a 5.75, which is good, and this means that you have enough education on leisure. And your scores are calculated by adding everything you set up 1 through 12 and dividing it by 12. Your second category, which is your effective score, you scored a 4.08, which is also high, and this was calculated by adding Your score is 13 through 24 and dividing it by 12, which means you've experienced positive outlooks and experiences in leisure. Your last category, you scored a 3.75, which is your behavioral, which means you have enough quality of life experiences dealing with leisure. And this was calculated by doing 25 through 36 and dividing it by 12. So far by looking at your scores, you do not need any interventions to help you educate you about leisure, which is good, but I will be evaluating you in another month to make sure you're still headed on the right track. Your results will be kept in a file and it will be kept confidential, and we'll see you back in a month.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so an observations from the stimulation would be that the client was willing to participate, they were well spoken, they understood most of the questions, they answered immediately, they only paused on about 2 of the questions. So I feel like for most of all, they understood what I was asking them and knew how to respond. Most of their scores, well, all of the scores were higher than 2.5, which meant that they understood what leisure was in all 3 of the domains: behavioral, affective, and cognitive. So there was no intervention needed. And another observation was the client didn't have much to say. It was pretty much just me talking and the client answered, and they didn't have much questions.